The rain fell hard that evening. Thick, cold sheets that turned the streets of Sector 9 into glistening rivers of light and filth. Most people ran for cover. I stayed, not because I liked rain, but because I didn't have anywhere else to be. I was posted on night patrol outside the civilian zone, walking the edge of the outer wall with a half-broken umbrella and a soggy ration bar in my pocket. My shift was quiet, until I saw her. She was standing alone by the supply crates, arms crossed, soaked to the bone. Her cloak clung to her like wet silk, and her pale violet skin shimmered faintly under the streetlights. Her species, I didn't know what it was, but she was definitely not human. She didn't shiver, didn't flinch, just stood there, staring up at the sky like she was trying to understand why it kept falling. I walked toward her. At first, I thought maybe she was lost, or waiting for someone. But as I got closer, I saw it. Her eyes were wide, blinking rapidly, and her jaw trembled ever so slightly. She wasn't waiting. She was enduring. I didn't say anything, just walked up beside her, opened my umbrella, and held it over her head. For a second, she didn't react. Then she turned her face toward me, and something cracked inside her. Her lips parted, her eyes shimmered, and tears began to fall. Not softly, she sobbed, like something had burst open inside her. Her whole body shook, her hands clenched. She turned away and tried to cover her face, but without shelter, the rain had already hidden nothing. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I don't know why." "You don't have to," I said quietly. "It's okay." She stood frozen for a moment, and then, slowly, leaned into me. Her forehead rested lightly against my shoulder, and I felt the weight of everything she'd been carrying. "They left me," she said. "My unit, my kind, when the ship broke apart. I was the only one who made it here." I didn't know what to say. I just held the umbrella tighter, angling it so it covered more of her small frame. "I tried to be strong," she continued, "to pretend I didn't care. That rain meant nothing. But on my planet, it only rained on burial days." Her voice broke. I thought I'd forgotten what it felt like. I closed my eyes. "You didn't forget. You just didn't have anyone to remember with." She looked up at me, her eyes filled with something raw and fragile. "Why are you doing this?" I met her gaze. "Because you deserve to be dry." She laughed softly through her tears, a quiet, broken sound. No one's ever said that to me. Not like that. We stood there for a while, just listening to the rain tap against the fabric above us. The world blurred around us, lights and puddles, distant voices muffled by storm. But she stayed close, like maybe the umbrella had created a world where it was okay to feel again. After a long silence, she said, "My name is Theory." "I'm Elias," I replied. "Thank you, Elias," she whispered. "Not just for this, but for seeing me." I nodded. "You're not invisible, Theory. Not to me." She looked down, then at the umbrella. "May I hold it?" "Of course." I handed it to her, and she reached out with shaking hands. The moment her fingers curled around the handle, she held it like it was something sacred. Then she did something unexpected. She lifted the umbrella and tilted it slightly, so it covered me instead. Her hand still trembled, but her smile had returned. Small, soft. "Rio, I think I want to walk a bit," she said. "Then I'll walk with you." We strolled slowly through the narrow alleys of Sector 9, shielded from the rain by that one fragile umbrella. People passed us without much notice, but in our little bubble, it felt like we were alone in the world. As we walked, she told me about her home, the crystal forest, the floating stones, the sky that shimmered green during their version of twilight. I told her about Earth's autumn, the way leaves fell like fire, the sound of wind through tall trees, The feeling of someone making you a cup of tea without asking if you wanted one. We kept walking until the storm began to ease. The sky turned from black to gray, and the air smelled cleaner somehow. At the edge of the civilian compound, she stopped. "This is where I stay," she said softly. I looked at the small building, bare, simple, barely lit. "I'll come back tomorrow," I said. She paused. "To bring the umbrella?" "To bring company." She laughed again, but this time there was no sadness in it. Then she stepped closer and, with trembling fingers, removed a small silver band from her wrist. "This is a memory ring," she said. "It records what matters." She slipped it into my palm. "I wanted to remember tonight." I looked at it, then at her. "You sure?" "I'll remember it either way," she whispered. "But now you will too." She walked through the doorway and disappeared into the quiet. I stood there for a long while, the rain slowing, the world returning to motion, and in my hand, the memory ring pulsed gently, like a heartbeat that didn't want to forget.